Welcome to Random Select. Please enjoy.
Hey, what's going on, people? We would like to welcome you into another episode of Random Select. I'm your host, Mario, also joined by my other two partners in crime, Dave and Will, and we have a very special panel today. We're going to be discussing role reversals and finances in the black community. We got a first-time panelist in Chantel today, and we also have a returning panelist in Carlotta and Valencia, and we're going to jump right into it because we got a lot to try to get in, and we want to try to get it all in. And we're going to start with the fact that it's a myth. Well, maybe not a myth. Maybe it's confirmed at this point that us as black people, we have problems saving money. We have problems spending our money on the right things. We have problems securing loans. We have problems with paying people back, and saving money. So the question is, to start at the very beginning of it, when you were growing up, and I want to start with Chantel since she's on the show for the first time. When you were growing up, how did your parents educate you on finance, or did they educate you on finance?
When I was growing up, there was no financial education at all. You see your parents, or in my case, my grandmother go to work. You see her pay bills, but you don't know how she's doing it. You don't know the nuances behind it. You don't know what she has to do in order to make sure that the household runs. So in my case, no, there was no financial education at all growing up.
Okay, what about you, Dave? When you were growing up, did anybody teach you about how to save your money, what to do with the money, or anything like that?
To make a long story short, no. I've never been taught. Started learning in my late teens, early 20s. But never taught from childhood at all.
All right, Valencia, since this is your baby, what about you?
Yes and no. Family-wise, I was never taught to save money or anything like that. I actually overheard a conversation that my aunt was having when her and my uncle were trying to buy a house. So I went to school to one of the business classes, and I enrolled myself in there. So I took it upon myself to try to learn about that. So as far as anyone sitting me down saying, hey, your credit is important, guard it with your life, never had that done.
What about you, Carlotta? Was finances stressed in your household growing up?
No, my father had his own business, but the closest you got was your piggy bank as a gift. And you were taught to save and sit and count it, and then you buy something special with it. That's about it.
Okay, Will?
For me, nothing in depth. I mean, had, the standard, piggy bank, get to, track your change and whatnot, and, had an allowance as a kid, so you would, have to learn how to save that or to get certain stuff. But as far as just, I said, I've had friends, other friends, and I guess to some of the topic of this podcast, coming up through high school, some of my Caucasian friends, they were getting taught how to use, literal savings accounts, checking accounts, at the time that something that we just weren't getting. I think like most of us, I didn't have my first true bank account till probably like right around college age, like late freshman year, sophomore year of college. And that's that same point where we all started getting credit cards and making a whole set of mistakes that would take years to wipe out.
Okay. Well, the only thing I would have to say about that is growing up in the hood, where you saw a lot of people struggling, a lot of people just trying to do what they could. The only advice you really got from your parents was just don't mess up your rent money, and everything else will kind of be okay. If you got your money, pay your rent, even if you have to be in there with no water and lights, just pay your rent. And that's pretty much what my financial upbringing, teaching was. And, that's it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question. When, as a black household, you hear that the net worth of a white household is $112,000, compared to a black household, which is only $6,000. How do you feel about that, Carla?
I think it's a fact. But why is it that way? Part of it is yes, because black folks do waste their money and live for the moment, but we have to also really go back and look at the fact that a lot of white folks been getting money passed down over the years through insurance, through people giving houses to the grandkids, people leaving money for the grandkids. We've never had anybody leaving anything. We've just been, we are the so-called richest, if you want to look at it that way, for our generation. Our people before us were struggling. We finally at the point where we're not struggling as bad as our ancestors. So it's not really a fair race.
Okay, let me bounce that back to you, Valencia. How do you feel about the discrepancy in net worth in households?
The discrepancy in the network, I believe, is true. However, it comes with spending habits. I just believe, yes and no. Some parents, some grandparents were leaving money to, you know, to the sons and to the daughters. However, that lack of education, knowing, hey, you know, if dad left me $20,000, let me take 10 and invest it. Let me take the other 10 and pay off some things to kind of get myself out of debt. Unfortunately, we have not been taught as to have that mindset. Let me think about the future and things like that. So I believe that education plays a key in us learning how to spend our money. And I think I'm just thinking about my great-great-grandmother who never had a checking account. She didn't believe in taking her money to the bank because she was always afraid that it was going towards somewhere else. When she died, she had money around the house, which was crazy. When, you know, my aunts and uncles and dads was clearing out the house, they were finding money all over the place. So I think in this case it's true, but in this day and time and age, it should not be a reason why the African American community household is $6,000, because there's too much education out here for us.
All right, Will, how do you feel about it? Is that discrepancy a true representative, or do you think maybe the numbers are skewed a little bit?
I mean, I think it's a mixture of both the previous answers. I do believe that, you know, I think our generation is going to be the first close to, I won't say full, but majority generation is going to be in a position to leave stuff to our children. I mean, you think about our parents and, you know, their parents, you know, I said our grandparents are coming out like one generation removed from sharecropping almost. So there just wasn't a whole lot to pass down, and you just didn't even have a need. You didn't have the resources to pass down or the education to understand you needed resources to pass down. Now, you know, we're in a state where, you know, a lot of us, you know, have jobs that offer 401ks. You know, I mean, just even back up from that, we have jobs that offer medical benefits. That's something that's you know, as a culture, we've just started getting into, you know, large scale in recent times versus, you know, previous times. So, and just the fact that, you know, so as we get more educated, have better opportunities, we'll be able to do that. I mean, there's also the elephant in the room that, you know, a lot of times you might not even get the same opportunities as a black man or woman to get to a place, to get to a job where you can contribute and, you know, build a nest egg like that. I know I've personally been in a couple of interviews where, because I have a nice generic sounding name, when I went in and shook the person's hand that was interviewing me, they had this look on their face like that's not what they expected to see when they saw my name on the resume. So, I mean, that's just general prejudice is a factor too, and just cutting down opportunities by people have to stack up a nest egg.
Okay. Before I bounce it around, let me just put a scenario out there, and I'm going to start with Shan, then I'm going to go to Dave with this one. Now, net worth is generally saying that if I liquidate everything that I own, not nothing that you rent or nothing that you paying a mortgage on, but if I liquidate everything I own, as a black person, they saying that we could only leverage ourselves for $6,000. And not to put nobody on the spot here, But Shan or Dave, anyone can jump in. If you did that right now, not the cars that you're paying for, everything that's in your savings, everything that you could possibly sell that you own, would it amount to $6,000 or not?
Yeah.
Shan?
For me, I think I would be very close to that. If I
Dave?
take into consideration everything I own, I would be close to that.
But it wouldn't be nowhere near $112,000.
Nowhere near.
Okay, David?
Everything I own, that'd be a negative. I wouldn't get close to 6,000. Now I think about it, it's kind of sad. But just never think about it sometimes. But no, I wouldn't get close to 6,000.
Carlotta?
Yes.
So you saying yes, you would be close to 6,000 if you left. Not stuff that you renting. I'm talking about everything that you physically own combined with your savings. Would you be at least
how much
6,000?
is valued?
No, your net worth is like whatever. Once you liquidate everything, what you got.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
Over 100,000.
Okay. William?
I'm not at 100,000. I could probably get a little over 6, but it wouldn't be. I said it wouldn't even begin to close to 100,000. It might not even close to be 50. It wouldn't even close to get to 50,000. To be honest with you, it'd probably be like, like you said, if you're eliminating stuff you're paying for and just everything you own, that's probably about right around the mark, right around 6, a little over.
Valencia?
I'm right there with Will. Nowhere near 112. Yeah, just thinking about everything that I know I have access to. A little over 6.
Okay.
In hindsight, thinking about it, a little over 6.
The reason I asked that question because nobody never really think about it, that if the bottom fell out your life tomorrow, what would you be worth? And that's the reason I asked that question. All right,
Rico, we're gonna ask a question to you. What about you? Where do you stand?
To be perfectly honest with you, if you liquidate everything and just say go there, I mean, 10 at the most. I promise you, it's closer to 6 than 10, and nowhere near you and Will's 50.
No, I'm not saying.
No.
Will said 50. I ain't saying.
No, I didn't. I didn't say 50. I said I could even get to 50.
Well, you whooped that though, like you feel that.
No, that was more frame of reference.
You said 50, you get back down to like 6 to 10. I don't know how you go from 50 between 6 and 10, but that's what you said.
Oh Lord, look, we don't need people trying to find us.
Yeah,
I mean, really.
So, I mean, for real, when you think about it, it's kind of a little scary when you really think about where you really sit,
I would say this, if something were to happen to me, my kids would be fine. They would be in a better situation now than, I would say, 3 years ago.
And I have to agree with Valencia. If anything was to happen to me, I have it set so that my family would be fine. I don't have any kids, but my husband and my little nephew, who I take care of a lot of times, they would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And see, a part of that too, and to that point, and I'm in that same boat, and that's just because if nothing else, I can't speak for anyone else on this phone call, but I just know through having some of the family losses I've had, realizing that, parents, aunts, uncles, whatever the case may be, just didn't either have or believe in life insurance. That's a sobering fact to see play out, in reality. So that's just something that I just made my mind up to rectify as soon as I was adult enough to realize that was wrong. I've always had that to points that I said, I have a son now, but my family, no spouse if necessary, whatever would be taken care of if something happened to me. But that's just because, just from experience, that's just a bad thing to see where you can't see, you struggling to put together funeral costs or organize things and do things, and just to your point, Mario, just when the bottom fell out, there was just no plan B, no plan C, no plan anything.
And not just to have insurance, but to make it a priority. Some people have it, but then you may pay it this month, or you might not pay it that month because you feel like you have a bill that's higher priority. But just to make sure it's a priority, and make sure it's always there if it's ever needed.
So does that go back to what you said, Will, that because this generation right here, with being us, cares about or place priority on insurance, makes it where it's part of what you say you are in a position to leave to your kids? Is that part of it?
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, it's just, like I said, it's just stuff that you've seen. I mean, like I said, some of us say we weren't educated, but if we weren't educated specifically by our parents, we were educated by situations we saw our parents go through, and we just know that, you know, every parent wants better for their child than they had themselves, and that applies to us as well. So we've just learned from experience. We just, like, life insurance things is something. As I said, it needs to be a priority, because you just never know. Life insurance, setting up a will that actually defines what stuff can go, so you don't have people fighting and doing silly stuff. All that stuff is important. That's stuff that we've kind of picked up now. Just some things we've gone through, in our lives.
Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna go to a real switch gears just really quickly. Then we'll get, back into the meat and potatoes of this. But do you believe that the roles have been switched, have been reversed when it comes to women being the predominant breadwinners in the household? And I want to start with Dave with this one.
I stole me for, but said it laughing.
Hold on. Before you answer, Dave, I'm just gonna say these are all personal opinions. Everybody walk away with their feelings intact at the end of this conversation. All right, go ahead.
Okay. I think the roles are reversed. No, I don't think the roles are reversed. I think a lot more women is working more now than ever before in probably the history of America. But role reverse, no, not traditional household. I mean, there's a man and woman president. Generally speaking, the man is generally head of the household. So, no, you're a single parent. That's different. Can't speak upon that. But married couple or just people living together, the man still considered the man in the household. I really had to make that point.
Okay, let me dump this right to Carlotta.
Okay, this is all my opinion. From what I noticed in our generation, women are ending up with the kids, and the men are walking away. So the same way we said before that lifestyle changes and change the woman into a certain kind of woman. If you have a group of women that continuously end up getting stuck with children, and they're the ones playing the mother and father, and there's no man there, don't you think eventually they will become aggressive? Eventually they're going to change because they were forced to be the head of household? I mean, reality is that's happening more than couples. I don't see too many couples running around. I see a lot of single parenting. So if you have her playing that role every day, it's going to change.
Yeah, that's a single parent, though. Go ahead.
Yeah, but how many couples do you see anywhere? It's a lot of single parents walking around.
Mm-hmm.
Just to jump in real quick, and I just want to ask a question. And I know situations that fit both sides of this question I'm about to ask. Are these single parents in every case because the other person left them to be a single parent, or are these single parents that are parents that people that are choosing to be single parents? Because I know couples on both sides of that equation where I know men and women just like, well, I'm just gonna be single parent, just take care of myself. Like, okay, but you realize your baby mother or baby father is available to be in their life. You don't have to be single. You're making a choice yourself.
I don't think most black women decide they want to be single because, I just feel I want to. I'm talking about the women that end up pregnant when it seems wonderful, a good relationship, and then when the hardship comes, the man goes. Those are the people I'm talking about, where most of the time the woman is not going to say, I'm not going to take care of my child, because there's a bond there that you will play that role. If you look at all these black men and you ask them, who did you grow up with? Most of them are going to say they grew up with their mom. She has no choice. The man walks away. So if she keeps on playing this role and paying every bill and worrying about everything and running the show, of course women are going to start acting like, yes, I run it. So,
but if you're the only person, if you're the only adult in the household, of course you're the head of the household. I'm speaking more of a
But I'm
couple
saying
point.
it changes how women are gonna act. So it changes the impression you get of what, or she's too aggressive, she's too this, but she can't help it. That's what she's been doing her whole life.
Let's let Valencia chime in, then we're gonna get Chantel. Come on, Valencia.
Okay. From my point of view, I believe that there are more single-parent households. Now, go back to what Will was saying. As a female, as a woman, we need to pay more attention who we're dating, who we're sleeping with, before we just run out and get ourselves pregnant. Because if we pay attention to the signs, we can alleviate a lot of these single-parent households. I'm speaking from personal experience. So that's my thought process on that. Second of all, I do believe that as far as couples, and statistically is showing that in African American communities, there's not really the husband and wife mentality. That right there is basically fading out generational wise, because if you look at these women now, these women are basically just living for the moment. They're trying to have threesomes and foursomes just to appease these men to get a sexual kick out of it. So the real women that are out here, raising kids, taking care of themselves, it's more of women like that than it is couples. And that's just my point of view. And I'm pulling up statistics now. I'll be able to tell you the percentage. But, I mean, it's one of those things you really can't deter from it, unfortunately.
Okay, have the roles been reversed?
Yes, most definitely the roles have been reversed. And it comes from the generation. Think about it. I'm 34 years old. I look at some of the guys who I went to school with. These rabbits don't even want to take their butt to school and let alone get a real job. Instead, they want to basically sit their behind on the couch, play video games, and let a woman come up in here and make sure that his sorry tail has a place to stay. So,
All right, wait a minute. Hold that right there. Dave, chime in.
The nigga conversation on video games got to go out the window. That got nothing to do with nothing. He could be a good guy play video games. He could be a bad guy play video games.
But that's just an example, Dave. What I'm saying is,
I don't like nigga conversation.
But no. What I'm saying is the generations have changed because the thought process of younger men have changed. I'm not talking about guys who get their behind up, go to work, and do what they need to do. I'm looking at this I'm talking about the people my age and 10 years younger. They don't know what it's like to get their behind up and go to work. Instead, they want to say, baby, you gonna go to the grocery store, you gonna do this, you gonna do that. And I see this across the board. So in my eyes, yes, the roles, it has changed.
All right, let's get Chantel in. Chantel, do you see that the roles have been reversed between men and women?
Absolutely. When just looking around on my job, I see more women than I do men. Going to church, I see more women than I do men. And this is not even single women. This is married women. This is women in relationships. So absolutely, I think the roles have been reversed. The question is, how do we change them back? How do we get things back to the way they're supposed to, to having that man in the household, to having that presence in the household? Because again, I have a little nephew, and his father is around, but not in the household. And the reason my nephew gets that male presence is because he spends a lot of time with me and my husband. But I look at all these other families around me, all these other women around me, and I see the women doing everything. So where's the male presence?
Let me tell you something. Let's take the mother of my child. I'm just using her for example because that's what I know. This chick did everything in her power to alienate me from my child. Everything. Nothing wrong on my part. I'm going to say nothing wrong. I should have did, hindsight 2020, I should have did a little bit more, but it was in 2 different states. And I got older. I said, I should have moved back to Daytona. But this lady played me to the left and played my son. He didn't know he got played. He turned 19. When he called me up and said, you know what? My mom is a fool. I said, yeah, I know. I been knew this. But I couldn't have said it to you because it was your mama. It ain't all, y'all, everybody always trying to make the man be able to be the bad guy. But a lot of times, women do some vicious thing to men. And I can say vicious. A lot of y'all use a kid as a way to get at a man. And a lot of it be so wrong. A lot of times, a man don't want to deal with that crap.
Okay,
I
but
got
if
a friend of mine now doing her man like that. I got a friend of mine right now doing her man like that the same way right now we speak. I don't know. I just look at her and go, she wrong. She shouldn't do that. And it took her a while to get over there and put him back in life. The role to me, in our neighborhood that me and Marla grew up in, we could tell you about three. We knew 3 dads in the neighborhood. One of them was mine, Ahmed, and Tamika Williams' dad. The whole neighborhood. But not at one point did we ever come and say the roles were reversed. The role has never been reversed. It gonna always be the mother or the father. If you're a single mother in a household, you're gonna be the head of the household. If you got a man there ain't doing nothing, that's y'all fault. Nobody else's. The roles don't change unless you just want to be. Most women just want to be in charge and say you're being in charge. Like I always say, y'all find these men ain't about nothing because y'all gonna have something to talk about. They always been about nothing for a long time. Some of them they been 11, 12, 13, 14, ain't been about nothing. Then y'all get up here and lay down with them and then complain that he ain't about nothing. He was about nothing before you got pregnant by him. So the role that he was nothing then. The role ain't necessarily changed. It's what y'all wanted to change. But if you're a single parent in a single household, then you are the head of the household.
Tell you I'm all about nothing. He's gonna pretend.
Oh, you
and
know,
that's the
he
problem.
just told you. You know, if you just sit down and be patient, you will know. It ain't. I mean,
but
this
unfortunately,
ain't
a lot of these black women are popping up babies while they are on the false pretense as to what they're dealing with.
If you don't know,
wait, hold on.
You problem. If you know he
ain't
working or doing X, Y, and Z, that's a you problem.
Okay, but we didn't get Will's opinion on this. Will, do you feel that the roles have been reversed?
I don't think the roles have reversed. I just think there's men and women on both sides on each side of the equation not living up to the roles that should be being lived up to. I mean, as I said, I don't think it's because I just don't think that there's bad men out there who aren't fulfilling their roles as a father, husband, man that they're supposed to be fulfilling. Same with there are women out there that aren't fulfilling their roles as a mother, wife, or woman. And when one side of that scale falls out of whack, of course, the natural reaction, it has to flow to the other side of the scale. So I don't think there's a reversal. I just think there's just shortcomings on both sides, and the natural yin and yang is somewhere it has to be filled in. So you got you have women out there who are being forced to be single parents and be, a mother and father, head of their household. And let me tell you that I'm not gonna say mother and father because I hate people say that. They have to be a mother and have to try to do things a father would do in a household that they're just not equipped to do. Same way there's a single man raising kids. There are things that I said, I'm not equipped to nurture in a motherly sense a child. I'm not equipped to kiss a boo boo, to do that stuff. That's why there's a man and woman should be both parents, because that's stuff. As a man, I'm not equipped to do that. I'm equipped to protect my household, provide for my household, to show my children what a man is supposed to be. I'm there to do those things. The same way that my wife will be there to do things to nurture the household, to show what a woman and wife should be, to my children. That's what she's there to do. So I don't think there's reversal. I think there's just a lack of people doing their jobs.
All right. Well, Carlotta, we're going to transition into this next question. Do you feel that as you've been out there dating people and meeting people, and once a man found out how much you make, do you see a difference in them as opposed to, they intimidate or they figure you their meal ticket? Do you see a difference?
I don't see intimidation. Only a few people might be intimidated. Most of them see meal ticket. They want to portray and pretend that they really care because they figure I didn't go do this stuff myself and get what I have, so I'm gonna try to use the love role to ride on the horse with you, and that's what's happening a lot in Atlanta.
Okay, Chantel, with it being the numbers are out there now, it is saying that black women are typically making more than black men. I mean, in your household, is that the case, or do you find that you've seen a lot of your girlfriends or family members or co-workers where they make more than they men, and do you see as it a problem, or most men just don't care?
In my household, it is the case, and I have seen it in the households of several friends of mine where the woman makes more than the man. I don't see the men as being intimidated in the cases that I've seen, and even in my own house. I don't see the man as being intimidated by that. I see it, the way I look at it is, yes, I'm making more money than you, but if you step up and be the male, if you step up and be the head of the household, it shouldn't make a difference if I'm making more money than you, because we're a partnership. We're supposed to work together to do what needs to be done for the household. So it shouldn't matter. However, I can tell you when I was on the dating scene, it did intimidate men that I was making more money than them, because I could pay for things. I could do things for myself. And sometimes being able to do that, being that woman that has her own, that can do things for herself, that doesn't necessarily need that financial support from that man, can be intimidating.
All right, Valencia, how do you feel about that? Do you think that it would make a difference to a man with you making more than them, or have you seen any situations or have any stories to tell about you making more than a man and it caused a problem in the relationship strictly by the finances?
I'm not going to share the story, but I will say I ran across a couple of situations where there was intimidation factors, and because of the situation, you know, I get looked at kind of differently because of my children, because of the amount of children that I have, and automatically I'm perceived as, oh, I may be on assistance or this, that, and the third, not knowing that I have an actual good job, you know, and I can take care of me and all 5 of my children with no problem, and I don't have to sit up here and hold my hand out. So when they find out that I can hold my household down and still, you know, go out and do whatever it is I want to do, there is an intimidation factor.
What about you, Dave? Do you think that women making more than a man is an issue to you? Would it matter to you?
It's not even an issue to me. I will say this, though. My issue I got with a lot of this right here, y'all talk too much. Y'all give out too much information to people who y'all ain't really dealing with that much. Because a person is really, I don't know why a guy would be intimidated unless he just want to use money to control you. That's the only reason a guy would be, I guess, intimidated, because if he's trying to be with you, none of that really would matter. I will say, though, I don't tell people how much I make, though. I don't tell people nothing about my finances unless it's something really, I don't know, you gotta be a special person to know about my finances.
Okay, Dave, let me ask you a question.
That we talk too much. We don't go and say, this is what I'm making, whatever. You meet a guy, he doesn't know anything about you. You go on a date, you slowly get to know him. Eventually, he's going to see your house. Eventually, he's going to see your car. Eventually, he's going to ask what you do. I'm a nurse. The first thing they ask me is, what are you? CNA, LPN, RN. Once I hear that, I say stay far, because they already know the difference in the pay. So whether or not it takes the first date or the third date, eventually they'll know where you're coming from. I shouldn't have to hide my car and hide everything to make you...
No. I ain't saying hide nothing. But the last conversation we had last time, y'all had this whole 90-day rule, 6-month rule. Y'all should have the same rules about y'all finances. You should know nothing about y'all. Y'all can go out on a date and meet up somewhere and enjoy life.
If you and I go out on a date and you ask me, Valencia, what do I do? If I tell you I'm a project manager, you already know off the bat minimum what a project manager makes. God forbid if I tell you the credits that I have rolling behind it. So this is the only thing that we're saying. We're not sitting up here saying, oh, I make X amount of year. No, you would be an idiot to sit up here. A male or female would be an idiot to sit up here and put that kind of money out there. Exactly. The world that we live in, you kind of get a general sense of what a person is doing.
Mm-hmm. Like, for me, example, I tell people that I work for an insurance company. They automatically assume I'm an agent or something, but I'm not. I'm a business systems analyst. Just by telling them my title, they know how much money I make.
Right.
Will?
I mean, honestly, just... I think it's one. I've never been intimidated by a woman. What a woman makes. I said, one, I gotta provide for myself regardless of who else is involved, who else is existed in the world. So that means nothing to me in that sense. my thing is that if you, I almost say, if to a woman, if you run into a guy and he is, you truly feel he's intimidated by the fact that you are a business system analyst, or no registered nurse, or no you're making a fair amount of money, hey, chalk it up to the game that you just had your work done for you, because that's gonna be a waste of time no matter how you sliced it up. I mean,
But none of them are intimidated. This generation, they're not intimidated. They feel more that, you know what, you can help me out in my life. You're an asset I should keep around, and that's the problem we go through.
Well, no, wait a minute. There's a difference in saying you could be an asset and we'll be an asset to each other, and a man saying, he's just gonna try to be a gigolo. Now I said because as a male and female, you all should get together thinking you're going to put your things together to accomplish with each other.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
I know, but I'm just saying there's just too many cases of male and female where the female out there looking for, I need a man to take care of me, and like you said, the man out there looking, she would say, I need me a sugar mama to make sure, that I can put some rims on the car. Both of those situations are completely unacceptable. But now the pendulum is swinging back to the point to where you have men and women both being selfish about doing stuff like that. So now we don't want to get together to build anything as a couple because we so worried about not trying to spend out on X, Y, and Z that when you find the person you're supposed to be with, it ain't supposed to be a question of who makes what. If I make $100,000 and she makes $30,000, we make $130,000, and vice versa. It doesn't matter. But I said, so much of our society has just changed. It changed up how we look at things. Now we just, for the most part, we're all selfish.
Okay, so trying to get it back a little bit on course here. Do y'all feel that celebrities in the Afro-American community provides a false sense of how we living as a, black community? Do y'all think that people see the rappers and the NBA players and all that living all good, so we got to try to emulate that? The young kids, I know maybe not necessarily our generation, but do you feel that no one wants to be doctors and lawyers no more? Everybody either want to have a ball or a microphone?
Yeah. I mean, all these young kids, they want instant gratification. They don't want to work for anything. And they're at the point now where even if they have to go to McDonald's and work, they'll save up enough money to put enough stuff on and walk around and look like they got more than they have. They're lost in the materialistic lifestyle. So that's true.
Valencia?
Yes, I just had this conversation with one of my children. One of my children told me they don't see the purpose of going to college because, Beyonce didn't go to college, Jay-Z didn't go to college, and they made it big. Really? So, no, I mean, this generation, they really have a false sense of security of overnight celebrities.
Chantel?
I have to admit, I've seen it both ways. In the generation that's coming up now, I have seen the kids where they want that instant gratification. They want the latest designer shoes or whatever it is. But I also have seen some kids that know that lifestyle is not really the way we live now. They believe that if they work hard enough or if they reach their dreams that they can get to that point. But they know that it takes work to get to that point. And case in point, I know a young man now who's in college. The college that he chose is not one of the colleges that you think of when you think of basketball, because he's an excellent basketball player. But the reason he said he chose that college is because of the friendliness that he felt and because that he has people at that college that are willing to back him for his academic career, not necessarily his athletic career. So I believe that there are both out there in this generation.
All right, David.
The answer is yes. I mean, the answer by far is yes. He's been away for a minute now. But I always remember, when your son bring up Jay-Z and Beyonce, show them the young pictures of Beyonce when she was like 5, 6, 7 years old on the, what the Ed Sullivan that show was.
I've done that.
Star Search.
Yeah, I've done that.
It's not old. it's not overnight success. And other people get confused. It's really not overnight success at all. People just see the success and think that's the way it is. Next time they come to you with that, ask you, tell them it's over a billion people on the planet. Name 100 people who didn't go to college and got the success you're talking about. They can't do that. They see 2 people and think that's the way to go. And that's a lot. There's a lot of people. If I have these same conversations at work and other places with the same younger generation, like that ain't none of this crowd overnight unless you hit the lottery. It ain't overnight success.
There's nothing wrong with that, but at the end of the day, when you get that piece of paper with that degree, nobody can take that from you. As far as you being a celebrity, like I explained to my children, you can be on the top today and on the bottom tomorrow. You need to get something that's going to basically sustain you. That's the only thing I'm trying to tell my children. Whatever my children want to do, they can do it. But in my household, education is important.
Because truth be told, a lot of celebrities actually went to college. A lot of them really did. They might not have finished, but a lot of them really went to college and finished college. Especially a lot of rappers. They never mentioned it. But a lot of rappers, because it's my T.I. theory. You ever listen to T.I. talk? Do you ever listen to T.I. rap? Those different people.
No. But again, what I guess my point is, I try to make to my children. I'm not any of that. But at the end of the day, we still have to get our children, you know what I'm saying, to some form of reality. It's nothing wrong with being a Beyonce, nothing wrong with being an Alicia Keys, any of that. I have mad respect for all of them. But at the end of the day, still, get your education and don't be ashamed because you're not, you're not a millionaire, or you're not a celebrity or anything like that. That's something that, when I go and talk to these kids at the Boys and Girls Club, when I go to talk to these kids at the shelter, first thing, if you ask them, well, sweetheart, what have you thought about doing when you grow up? Oh, I'm going to be the next NFL football player. I want to be like, who is this rich homie Quan? Little stuff like that. Okay, but, and I try to deter them from that. Okay, well, besides that, if that doesn't work out, what else can you see yourself doing? Can you see yourself being a fireman? Can you see yourself being a teacher? Things like that, because at the end of the day, we still need those people.
I agree with that.
Real quick, Will, let me chime in here real quick.
Just the point, I just think it's just things like saying that the overnight success theory is what I think is a big issue than anything else, And to the point, I say you could point to people like Jay-Z and Beyonce, tell them you had to work. I think the bigger problems are people who are famous and rich for essentially nothing. I mean, your Kim Kardashians of the world, who has no truly discernible talent, but has millions of dollars, and you have to explain to your children, look, we can get into that space and watch these rich. I don't think we want to do it on this podcast, but I mean, it's just. You can't count on that. The things you can control is you can control your education. You can control, doing the things you can do. And if you have a lifelong dream of being a musician or, whatever you want to be, to put the work in to do
Mario. It. I can put a disclaimer out there, Mario, and put on your numbers. Kanye West, if we ever get big enough to make it, do you hear this podcast? That's not me talking. That's Will talking.
Man. Man, Kanye know too. Man, stop playing.
That's not me talking. That's Will talking.
Okay, really quick, just to jump back into, the role reversal thing like that. And I just want to ask the women really quick because everybody has different opinions on this. Carlotta, what is an independent woman? What's the definition of it?
Financially, you're secure to take care of yourself, to take care of your family, and emotionally, you are secure. And that's what I think is independent woman.
All right, Valencia, what's an independent woman in your eyes?
Look, me, just kidding. A woman that basically, takes care of her household. And when I say her household, her children, her parents if need be. She does what she needs to do, but do it in a God-fearing, ladylike manner. She's a respectable individual. She has a voice in the community. She basically can deal with whatever issues that hit her head on, and she's not afraid of conflict. She puts people in their place when she needs to, but at the same time, she's respectful when she does it.
All right, Chantel, to you, what's an independent woman?
The other two ladies pretty much covered it. I think that for sure an independent woman doesn't allow anybody to affect her own stability or her own self-confidence. She's proud of being able to support herself and her family.
So when a lot of times when y'all hear women, we as guys hear women say, I'm a strong, independent woman, a lot of times that usually goes back to financial. Nobody, when we hear that, we never thinks about emotionally and mentally that y'all right. Usually when y'all say independent, it direct correlates with y'all saying, I can buy my own crap, I don't need you to buy it. Is that the general consensus for that?
Well, no, because at the end of the day, when you're independent, you have to be secure within yourself. You know, I mean, yeah, you can have money, but if you're not mentally stable, emotionally stable, then you don't have the complete package.
But don't most women use I'm an independent woman as sort of like a defense mechanism?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And I'm not gonna negate you with that. They do. But when I think of independence, I don't not only think of financially. You know, I think of how can I inspire you? How can I be there to support you? You know, because I mean, at the end of the day, money comes and goes. But to have that complete package, you can't be, what's the word I'm looking for? You can't be this chick that's walking around with, you know, $10,000 bags, this, that, and the third, but what can you put out into, you know what I'm saying, what kind of legacy can you leave behind? That's what a lot of women have to start thinking about. You know, we can't just walk around and say, oh, I'm an independent woman because I can pay my bills and this, that, and the third. Can you inspire somebody? If you had to go and minister or mentor to someone, can you do that? Can you educate someone? Can you, you know what I'm saying? Can you be that sister that your brother may need, or this young lady that's out here struggling and, you know, she's bouncing from home to home. She got all these kids and she's still dealing with this dude and this young man that wants to go to college, but he's stuck in a rock and a hard place because his boy is calling him a punk because he won't sell dope. Can you go out there and, you know, make these people change their mind?
All right, David, when you hear a woman says that she's independent, honestly and truthfully, what do you hear when she say that?
For me personally, like a statement was, it is a defense mechanism, but from what they saying, it's not what they're saying. You know what I mean?
No, that's the point I'm trying to make.
I agree with 100% what y'all saying, but the women that actually said it ain't got nothing going for themselves, don't do nothing, they on all type of assistance, and they always out there like they're independent. I will say from here on out, when I hear a woman say, she's an independent woman, I am going to ask her, so what's your legacy? So I'm going to steal that from you.
Go ahead.
So what's your legacy?
I feel like this. If you're truly independent, you shouldn't have to say it.
Well, I agree with that 1,000%. I agree with 1,000%.
And you shouldn't have to prove it to anybody. As long as you know you are independent, you secure with yourself. You don't have to go shout it out in amounts.
Hell, I ain't never heard a man yell an independent man. That sounds weird.
No, because society accepts them that way. Society expect men to be that way. You're educated, articulate, you have money, and that's what they expect the man to be. But when a woman tries to be that, then she's a bitch, she's a this, she's a that. You know, what's wrong with us being the same way? Why do we have to be in a corner being quiet and submissive? What's wrong with being just like the man that went to and got his degree, educated and financially secure, and has all the physical stuff that makes society look at him and say he's a productive man?
Okay, and that's a very good point. I want to ask the women this: if you were paying for everything in a relationship, could you still be subservient to a man?
No.
Shan?
I would say it's difficult, but it depends on why are you paying for everything. Are you paying for everything because he's taking care of the household? Or are you paying for everything because he's just not doing anything? I would have to say it depends on the reason why you're paying for everything.
Valencia?
I've been there before. I had to because my ex-husband was sick, so that was the only way. He took care of the household. He could not work, and I paid the bills. But as soon as he took his behind back to work, he did what he needed to do. So unless we are married, that is the only way I can personally see myself paying for everything.
All right, I'm going to flip this same question around to the men. Will, if you were paying for everything, could you still come home and be that yes dear, no dear type man?
I don't even know what that means, to be honest with you. I mean, I guess if my wife, and I'm go back to what you said, I can only see that in a marriage situation. So if my wife, it has been blessed to be making, X amount of dollars, and she can take care of the household. I said, I'm still the man of the house. Granted, you're making money, and that's fine, but I still consider myself the head of the household. Say, make decisions, and even now, I said, we gonna make decisions together, but I'm not going to consider myself being, I don't know, less than an equal partner. So no.
All right, Dave, what about you? If you were paying for everything, could you still come home? I pretty much know your answer to this. If you were paying for everything, could you come home and still have to be kind of, submissive to the woman?
Oh, submissive to a woman. I won't be submissive to a woman in no situation. That's all. I choose not to be. Now, I can yes, dear, no, dear. We can talk and work things out, but I hear submissive. Submissive to me, no matter what I say, whatever she say, whatever she do, must be done. That's not my mentality. Never have been, never will be. I'm a debater, so that just won't happen like that.
Now, I have dated a guy that I told him when he called me, I just went and purchased a car. And he said to me, why didn't you discuss this with me? You just popped up and went to the dealership and didn't call me, say nothing. If you're not putting any money in it, why should I call you and let you help me decide what car I want? Or if you think it's a good idea to buy the car, if you're not in my house helping me pay bills. So it's just hard. It's hard to say you're paying for everything, but you want to sit there and play the role and let someone decide for you.
But
if we're in the house together and we're paying bills together, even if it's 50-50 or 20-80, then I understand. Yes, I'll take your input. But if I'm the only one paying all the bills, don't tell me what I'm supposed to do.
But the guy you tried to date was a relationship. You would date was a relationship, just some dude you was messing around with.
I don't mess around. Okay, yes, it was a relationship. But he wanted to put his 2 cents in because as a man, he felt I should have consulted with him first before I decided to choose whatever. It's my money, my dream, my car. I don't need to tell you.
All right, then. Well, there you have it. All right, so getting ready to try to wrap this up a little bit. This has been kind of wild. What do y'all think that the black community can do as far as creating services or something to help people, educate people financially? And we'll start with you, Shan.
I'm a big supporter of us building our own businesses and our own schools and our own things to support our community. I mean, I look at the public school system and how it's failing our kids. On the other hand, I have several friends who are business owners now. And I look at, we need to provide our own support services. We need to be there for our own community, because if we can't do it for ourselves, we can't expect others to do it for us.
Okay. All right, Carlotta. What type of services or what do you think we should go from here to help educate black people with finances?
They need a way to find out how to get the same stuff that everybody else gets. They make it seem like it's a big secret and white people got this over us, whatever. It's no secret. There's stuff out there. Nobody wants to put the work in to go research to find out how to do it. It's not some special thing for you to go and save your money and invest and make sure your credit is good and work on your credit score. There's no big deal to that. The problem is we're not motivated to try to do anything. We want people to hand us everything. You could put all this stuff out there, and the problem is going to be that, will people really respect what you're offering them? Will they pay back the loans when you give them these facilities that give them special financing? Will they pay it back? And that's the problem. You have to change the mentality before you even start giving them services.
Okay. What about you, Will? What do you think should happen? What do you think the course of action should be?
I mean, to me, it all comes down to just education. To me, because it's the same as it's a generational issue. So I just think this isn't something we're gonna solve. Anybody on this call, this isn't even something that our children are going to solve of everybody on this call. This is going to be something that falls to their children and honestly probably their grandchildren, as far as just a cultural shift of how we look at money, and then a cultural shift of, like I said, how we look at working and getting educated and dealing with society as a whole.
Okay, all right, David, bring it on home for us.
I do agree with the education. One thing I learned last couple of years is how many black banks are still in the city of Atlanta, black owned and operated, which kind of shocked me. It's several. And to me, that'd be a great key to start things off at. It start and more so your local bank branches where they'll invest more into you and your time, because they can pay more attention. You get you more finance you need to do whatever you want to, like say start your own businesses and things like that. But it gotta be rooted in education though. You can't do nothing without the education. I don't care what it is, what you're trying to do. Somebody has to educate you on it. And like I said, I've had conversations with my family members that's older than me, like my uncles and stuff like that, and had to tell him that y'all did a piss poor job of raising the youth behind you because y'all didn't tell us nothing. And it took him a minute. I told my dad the same thing. My stepdad, he raised me. I told him the same thing. You didn't teach us nothing. It was just go to school, get out of high school, and get a job. That was it.
That's why all these kids, when they get these credit cards in college, they don't pay them back because half of them don't even know there's something called credit score.
I didn't know that either. I'm telling you now, I didn't know about real credit until I was married and had to get something, and they were like, "No, you can't get it because you owe X, Y, and Z." I owe who and what? And I was 25.
I agree with you. I had
25.
no idea.
So when they're in college and get all these credit cards, they go spend them, and they think if they don't pay it back, it's no big deal. They don't realize until they're older, it's going to catch up to them.
But now that I know better, because I talk to my son. He's 21 now. I talk to the people below me about credit. It's up to people that know to just tell people who don't know. What they want to listen to or not, just say something about it. And like I tell everybody all the time, this way you can't never say nobody never told you. Whether you listen to it or not, I'm telling you. So, and that's how I preface a lot of my conversations with young generation that I talk to. So you can't never say somebody never told you, because nobody never told me nothing. And there's a lot of things I learned. And a lot of things I didn't learn. I mean, to get a lot of stuff right, I'll tell everybody until I was about 32. And I finally figured out a lot of things. I'm 32 years old. And I finally figured all this out.
Well, I guess that's what it leads back to. You have to start in your own house.
Mm-hmm. It comes back down to education. Everything comes down to some form of education, whether it's through school or through your people telling you a story.
Okay, and I want to say the final word on that is that I agree with Carlotta as far as the basis of trying to teach people how to pay people back. Because we, as a black community, we just get this thing where we borrow, but nobody wants to be accountable for paying back. And so since we don't like to pay back, a lot of institutions that's not black owned or government funded don't want to deal with us. Mm-hmm. Because we just do not believe in paying back. If we could just change the mentality, shift that thought process into paying back, a lot of stuff could change. Because we really don't pay back. So, all right, anybody want to wrap it up with any final thoughts that they didn't get to say, or they just wanted to put something out, or got anything that they want to let people know?
Yeah, I want to say that other cultures, they will support each other. The Mexicans, the Arabs, all of them, they will put stuff together and support their people. They get loans from each other. As long as black folks cannot get together and support each other, we're going to have a problem when it comes to success and business and stuff like that. You can't even get your own friends to pay you back. So that's one of the big issues. I have somebody right now owe me $1,000. When they were crying and telling me their problem, I lend them the money. They thank me so much. Now I can't even get them to pick up the phone.
And until our thought process change, unfortunately, it's going to be, revolving door effect. I agree with you, and I am just as guilty. I would not, under any circumstances, loan certain people money, because I know that they'll go out to the True Religion store, buy $500 pair of jeans, but you can't even give me the money back that I lent you to help you get up out this bind. But I think we need to start educating our children, because this generation, they don't need to go through the things that we went through, you know. And we just live in an age now, it's too many resources for us as adults not to know, even for, you know, our children. I mean, I was looking at my insurance policy and looking at different types. I don't know if you guys know, but you can actually buy an insurance policy that you can have cash value out of. So it's different things like that. When we start digging and doing the research, we can find out so many things that can be beneficial not only to us, but to our children moving forward. You know, I strongly, you know, advise you guys, if you all have children, give your kids $20 and let them invest $20 to $100. Let them invest in a stock and something that they like, of that they use every single day. Watch it grow for 5 years and just see. You know, let that be a learning process to kind of educate yourself of different means of income instead of just relying solely on an insurance policy. Because basically, yeah, as black people, we've gotten up on that. You know, we know that insurance policies are good things, but a lot of people don't understand about the mutual funds, the investments, the stocks, the things of that nature. Those are also lucrative ways in order to gain money.
Okay, Shan, final word?
To piggyback off Valencia said, I like the idea of giving your kids $20 and let them invest. Why not do that for ourselves? Because we need to learn so that we can educate our kids. Take $20 yourself and invest in something and watch and see what happens. That's how we learn, so that we can teach that generation that's coming behind us. But it does come down to education. We have to educate ourselves. We have to educate the future generation. We have to start to pass this on so that we don't get back into those old habits that our ancestors used to have.
All right, well said. All right, Will, you want to bring it home for us?
I mean, just from what we've all said, you know, about, you know, needing to see more, black people getting education, more, black owned, banks and, opportunities. I would like to say to those, black people who have, made it to that, point of success where they can run a bank, have a business, whatnot, that to keep that going, we have to learn how to own these things and treat them properly, because there are a lot of black-owned businesses that don't know how to treat the black people that come in to patronage their business. And you wonder, why you don't have why your community may not support you. And you have places that give people bad service, bad attitude. Again, it just goes back to just what we said at the beginning, just a change in culture we need to go into to just learn how to do a lot of things better. Just, keep striving to improve. And I think as long as we keep doing that, through whatever measure, education, finance, whatever, I think we'll be fine.
Okay, and with that, we're going to leave it right there. And I want to thank all the panelists that was on the show today. Want to thank Will, want to thank Dave, Carlotta, want to thank Valencia. Also want to thank our first-time panelist, Chantel. It was great to have you on the show. For all you guys that want to leave us questions about today's show or have any question for any of the panelists that was on today's show, you can email us at randomselectt@gmail.com. That's select with 2 T's. You can also leave a comment on Twitter. That's at randomselect with 2 T's on Twitter. And for the people that's on Facebook, you could type in Random Select Podcast and should be able to find us. Please subscribe. Please hit that like button. Every little bit counts. And every little bit that you give, we will appreciate. Until the next time, Random Select is out. Thank you.
You have been listening to Random Select. Thank you. Goodbye.